I'm just going to... Hi, everyone. We've just had a little bit of a glitch just as we began there. Welcome to our live. I'm just going to wait until a few people come on. So, hope you're all well. Hope you're all doing well. I know a few people out there have said, yes, they're going to join our live today. So, I'm just going to wait a little moment and wait for some people to come on. It's always good not to just jump in straight away. So it's afternoon here in New Zealand, and these two lovely gentlemen are coming in from the UK, Aman and Evan, and it's morning over there. So I got them to wake up early. So we've got a couple of people coming on. I think that we will just wait a little longer until a few more people just jump on. I'm going to just check on my phone to see everything's great and working and streaming. So I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm not ignoring anybody. We've got 5 people on. Everyone that's coming on, can you all, I've put a link in the description of this live to, we are doing this on StreamYard. So in order to see your comments and your face and everything like that, when you comment, we need you to click on that link, the StreamYard link, and get permission for your face to be seen in the comment and your comments. Otherwise, we cannot see your questions or anything like that. So I'm going to let you just kind of like do that now. Okay, just do that. That would be great. Wonderful. Just so that we can all see your comments and questions, and then we can answer your questions right here live. We'll try our best to answer them, okay? So I'm just going to pop that link again in the comments. I'm just getting that link again for you. Won't be long, everyone. Great. So we're all live. We're great. Fantastic. There's the link again. If you need to see that, tell us where you're coming in from. Are you coming in from the UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, New Zealand? It's always great to see who's coming in on these lives. So comment below where you're coming in from. Welcome, everyone. So we're just going to start off. Hi, Mersha. Hi, Hung Bun, is it? Hello, sorry, and apologies if I am pronouncing your name incorrectly. Forgive me. Welcome, everyone. So, welcome to our live. Like I said, we have with us tonight, well, this morning over in the UK and tonight here in New Zealand and Australia, we have Aman and Evan. Now, Aman and Evan did one of our job ready programs a few years ago. They're going to tell you a bit more backstory and everything about their journey. And now they did the program here in New Zealand, okay, and now they are over in the UK working. So the global transferable skill set they learnt in the program have taken over there into the UK. So let's get on with it. And I'm going to just ask Aman to just introduce himself, a little bit of backstory, and just tell us a bit about you and your journey, Aman, and what program you did, etc., and how you came to be in the UK.
Thanks, Carla. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. I mean, it's quite an early. But yeah, so I pretty much am born in India. So I migrated when I was probably 6, graduated and studied there. So I did Bachelor of Technology. So it's an IT and business degree mix. So after graduating, I had trouble finding roles and jobs and stuff. So it was quite a different experience because at uni we're taught to study and stuff. So it was really hard to sort of lay a job at the first years and stuff. So I think I joined Industry Connect around 2013. And I think
When
within
we first started, wasn't it, Aman?
it was very first start.
Yeah.
It's the very first, and I think Evan and I have a different way of seeing things because I think he had the whole nice online vision of it. I had the whole remotely everything done on paper at that start because it was very beginning of that time. But it was still enjoyable because Ray had his moments of enjoying and making things lively and stuff, as I would recall it. But yeah, other than that, after I think it was, and the weird bit was before this program, I had no interviews, no chance, nothing. I kept applying for CVs and stuff, but it was really hard for me to really get that vision or that experience. So I think it was within not even 3 months, it was within 1.5 months of joining. So I was just getting things, so I knew how to actually start talking, prepared that CV a bit more, and then sort of applied that within that I think 1.5 months of learning. And then I actually have a brother that's in London. So he was saying, you know what, since you're doing this intern, I'm going to talk to my boss about it. So I did the interview and I did like everything. And that's how I nailed the job. And this was like about 6 years ago. So now.
And that was in New Zealand?
This was in New Zealand. So I did apply in New Zealand, yes.
Right.
Then obviously, then I had to leave. So I left the program within 1.5 months. I mean, Ray was a bit gutted, but he was also happy about it as well. And then I left here, and now I've been working here. I mean, my first role was exciting, but it's just a different experience, right? Guy that moved from India to New Zealand, now working in UK. But yeah, that's me really as a short story.
Awesome. So just quickly on that, how did you get to be in the UK? Was it?
So it was sort of a thing that I was looking for roles, right? And then I was a bit like, I'd rather just get anything I got. And then, I got this opportunity. It was one of a unique opportunity. It was a contracting opportunity in London. And it was just a contracting base, but the pay was good. Surprisingly, it was amazing pay as well, because I think at that time I got about, I think, £200 an hour. And that's in pounds as well. So that was a very thing. And I was just excited. The only bit was I think I had a exam that I had to sit, which was the actual software test, right?
Oh, the technical.
The technical software exam, they call it, where they make you to do sorts of programs and test your skill and they put you on the spot. And then there was a technical round as well that I did, which was an online rapid 50 question answers, Q&As, and it was probably, I think you had to get 2 wrong to actually get through. And I actually got 3 wrong. But luckily, because of the reference that I got through my brother, they sort of were a bit lenient. It's not always like they're very tough on things. I think what they look for is if you're willing to learn, your willingness to be hardworking. I think that's what they're looking for. And obviously, they do require a test skill set, but I think they more so look for the fit in the company as well. And
yeah,
it was one of the things, but it was a different experience because back in New Zealand, things are done very differently compared to London. London's always busy. When I first came, I was like zooming past and everything. But I think it's one of those things that it is when you look back and you think, okay, sitting in that room and you're thinking about like, am I gonna get anywhere in this thing? And what am I doing? It's very sort of thing. You have no, like, because you coming out of uni, you're still sort of in that mindset, okay, I've looking for a job for a year, I can't find a job. What am I going to do? Am I getting it anywhere? And then Ray comes up magically and he goes, okay, this is the internship we're offering. This is what we do. We teach you your skills. We teach you soft skills. And at that point, I was a bit hesitant, thinking, okay, maybe, I don't know. I'm like, is this what I want to do? I'm not sure. And then I thought, and actually my dad said, he said, you paid for a degree. You paid what, 20K for a degree. A year you waited, you did not get a job. Might as well invest a little bit more. If it's gonna get you anywhere, you never know. It's a hit and miss. And then I was like, okay, and as soon as I got into the role, and then I realized that this is actually, it's not an internship. It's more like working in a work area. You know what I mean? It's like you're there, you're physically in the office, you're talking to developers, you're talking to different companies that are working there, and they give you that soft skill, they give you that training, they give you that skill. And due to that skill, to be honest, I did survive very well. Like when I came down, I knew how to behave, I knew how to react, what Scrum was, what are the terminologies that you use in technologies. I picked that up, and I was surprised because as graduates, they don't really expect you to know all that.
Yeah.
But it was
Awesome.
quite a
So
pleasure.
good on Dad.
Yeah, good on Dad.
Good on Dad. He got you out there. Oh, thanks, Aman, for sharing. I'm going to head over to Evan now. Evan, come on out, Evan. Just give us a bit of a intro about, everything.
Yeah.
Same as Aman. Just tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, good morning. Good evening to you guys in New Zealand and Australia. So a little about myself. So I'm originally from New Zealand. So I was born and raised in the north of the North Island in a little town called Kerikeri. And so basically I had studied at school, I had studied chemistry and biology, and I had a job in manufacturing in New Zealand for a few years, and I had really started enjoying using and abusing Excel to a large extent, and I really started to learn some like Microsoft Access and some of like data type structures and stuff like that. And I really got interested in it. I liked it. I thought it was really great for solving problems. And so I decided that I really wanted to switch careers and move fully over to BI. I really liked the idea of being able to solve problems and present people with data and tell a story. So I had left my then present job, and I had been studying for a few months by myself, about 6 months. And I had tried to do stuff like Free Code Camp. I was utilizing a lot of online resources and tutorials, but I was really quite lost with the plethora of technologies and skills that I believed I needed to learn to get an entry into sort of the software and IT market. And it was really daunting, to be honest. I wasn't having a good time narrowing down a skill set that I really needed, and not knowing when my skill set was really ready to apply for certain jobs. So I came across Internet Connect on the web, and I got really interested because the job ready program for BI seemed exactly what I wanted to do. And so I ended up signing up. That was in December 2018. And I joined the program. I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. And so I started doing like the short part of classes before the internship. And it was really great. There were a lot of stuff that I had touched upon before, but I hadn't really talked with it in a classroom with other people. Of course, I was part of the virtual intake that was quite different to Aman when he did it back in 2013.
Yeah, very different now.
Yeah, it's quite different. But it was great doing those classes live because you're able to ask questions, and the class kind of moved at the same speed as the competency of the students within it. So there were definitely a lot of people in that program that knew a lot that I kind of kept quiet and listened to and asked questions on the question hub and stuff like that. But during that time, I had about 6 months to 8 months prior to that decided to move to London. And that was also a very daunting and sort of an extreme move since I was having trouble finding work in New Zealand. One of the things that seemed advantageous for me was to move to London, where there was a larger job market, as well as a greater variety of different levels where my skills could be applicable and I could still really enjoy the job. So one of the great things for me with Internet Connect, Industry Connect, and MVP Studio when I started doing the internship part is because it was already all remote. I was able to segue that, and even though I was traveling and moving country, I was still able to keep full time in the MVP program. a bit. I did have to stay up pretty late at that time, as they didn't have a UK-based program. But it was great. Like, I learned quite a lot of. I was able to narrow down my skill set and think about what I specifically wanted. And I got to the UK, and I was still doing the internship. I was still learning quite a lot. I was doing the various Scrum meetings, as well as like the CV and job skills. I was quite actively involved in those. I think those things are definitely one of the best parts of the program. I think regardless of where your soft skills are at, there's always room to improve. And I came over to London and I started applying for jobs, and a lot of people had questions about MVP Studio because they, coming from New Zealand, they didn't know why I was here or what I was doing, but having like sort of that real world experience, and that I could say that I was, doing something that was real world right now, was really advantageous. And it was less than a month before I had 2 or 3 interviews. And within 2 months, I had started full-time at my current job. So, wow. Yeah.
That's awesome. Fantastic. I didn't realize that you actually were still doing the internship when you actually moved to the UK.
Yeah. It was a bit crazy with the hours, but it wasn't that bad, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, good on you. That's awesome, Evan. Hey, everyone, you can ask any questions too. So, like I said, we can only see your comments. Everyone that's on here, we can only see your comments if you click on that link, the StreamYard link, and give Facebook permission for us to see your picture and your comment, okay? So feel free to ask any questions. I've got a question here from, is it Hung Bun? I'm studying in computer science, machine learning. I am friendly with Python programming. What skills should I prepare for an industry job? That kind of question, Hung, I think we have to kind of like backtrack a bit. And what kind of career are you going for? Is it software development? What I do suggest though for you is to register on our website and get the information pack if you haven't already. And then from there, one of the team will give you a call to have a chat. And then you'll come, if you're wanting to join, the next step is the advice and interview meeting. And you'll meet some of the senior devs and everything. We'll have a bit of a chat with you about your skill set, where you're at, and what you're wanting to do as a career. And then from there, we can help kind of like sift through everything and give you more clarity. I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, I hope I answered that okay for you. So everyone, just pop up some questions if you want. Not a problem. I'm just scrolling through. As you can see, I'm just looking to the side, but I'm just scrolling through everyone's comments. And I'd like to see everyone tell us where you're coming in from as well, okay? So just going about like working in the UK, guys, and obviously you guys at the moment are still in lockdown with the COVID thing and all that. How has it affected the industry, or have you seen a massive change, or is it just normal at the moment? People are working from home, like you guys are doing work from home, etc. Just give us a bit of insight into the UK and trends and stuff like that.
I'll go first, I guess. So in terms of us being in lockdown, in terms of the technology and the job area that we're in, so in IT, I think IT, and I can speak that for Evans as well, in our industry, the way we are, I don't think we are affected by this.
Yes.
Due to that, because we operate online, right? And that's the most powerful thing about technology nowadays, right? That's what technology has given, that power for us to work in this atmosphere. So like I think Evan said, he was studying from UK, right? At that point, if you look at it, when I was doing Industry Connect and I was doing this internship, I did not have that chance where I was doing these online. We were all remotely based, right? There was no online area and anything like that. So it's much harder at that point. Now looking at time in our jobs, we are everything that's online. We've got laptops. We do our development on there. We communicate. Our meetings are on Teams as well. We're using various tools, emails and everything. So it just feels like you are in the office as well. You're not really out anywhere. So if what I'm doing right now, I do my development, I do my software task or anything like that around any day-to-day basis, I do that at home. Whether I'm at office or not, doesn't matter. In fact, surprising you say that, I actually was working from New Zealand for 2 months as well with the same company. So
awesome.
I do tend to move around. That's what I love about IT as well, the flexibility. And in terms of us, I think IT in this market is the least affected or anything like that. Even like in terms of recession, when recession hits, we're the least likely to be impacted on that. And we still have our jobs, as to say. And I know I've got a friend that does non-IT. Now they've got thrown into taking 20% cutbacks on their pays as well. So you can see that as various things. We are the least people
affected. I have to agree with you in that, Aman, because even with us, everyone that's watching, you know, all of our job ready programs are all done via Zoom live sessions. So everyone comes into the sessions anywhere globally. It's anywhere. You get on that laptop and join in the session. And then also when you move over to the internship with MVP Studio, it is also done via Zoom live. So you join in the sessions.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying is, so I manage a team. So I'm a software engineer. I've got a team that sits under me as well. So I've got mid developers, junior developers, and then I've got a team lead that sort of engages with me. And managing the whole team, I can just do it remotely. It's just, and even them having one-to-one to just give them a call, no, I'm done. And I mean, the only thing you miss is the face-to-face interaction. Other than that, my day-to-day job hasn't changed much, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's really important to keep Zooming throughout this whole thing. It does, it doesn't substitute completely for face-to-face interaction, but it's so much better than not having it. I find that just having the free flow of back and forth communication is just definitely something that helps work get done. From my experience throughout COVID, I pretty much agree with everything that Aman said. To me, almost it was even more busy. I found that I was having to, change how my reports were delivered slightly ad hoc. Definitely wasn't any less work to go around during this period.
No, actually, I think sometimes you would have got more.
I was gonna say that. I think it was
like you're at home. You don't have to drive anywhere or jump on a. What do you call it in the UK? That jump on the tube. The tube. So you've got more times.
No, I agree with them on that one as well. Especially with the cost saving and everything they're doing, less parties and everything out here. Because we've got a drinking culture here in UK, right? So after work,
I know that.
So it's like a Monday or a Friday. Any day is the same for us. You go on a Monday, Tuesday, it looks like a Friday night. It never changes. So that's the best thing about working in London.
Yeah.
And the worst part is when your company actually starts throwing you boozers. So we actually get free drinks on Fridays, unlimited, and they take us. I think our quarterly meetings are held at Odeon Cinema in Leicester Square, one of the most peak. Business. So they hire the whole cinema out and everything. It's like hiring out IMAX and they're taking you there in terms of. And then after they take you a sports bar, and then so they do look after your employees very well. That's what I'm saying. It's one of those things that I'm so glad that I've invested a little bit earlier to get that gain. You know, it's one of the things now you look back and you think, okay, this is just nothing what you've got back in return. So I do highly encourage everyone to sort of take the opportunity that they get, even if they're saying, okay, it might not be worth it, or it might be. People at that point think about what they're sort of given and thing. And I was one of them in that sense. And back in the days, I remember thinking about, okay, am I ready to invest this money in somewhere? And you do that with uni, you do that. But it's one of those things that you do it for yourself to get a better career out of life.
Mm.
And it's that structure you give. It's one of those philosophies where you say you give and take, right? So you give back something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with I agree with you, Aman. I've just got a question here. Yatasha Zhang, is the internship remote-based or on-site based in Melbourne? It is remote-based, so you have a weekly calendar, Yatasha, where you've got all the workshops and your Scrum meetings, and you all join in, like I said, via Zoom into those Scrum meetings and workshops during the week. So why it's like that, everyone, is that MVP Studio, who facilitates it's awesome, it's a fully mentored internship. They are a global company. So this is why we run it via Zoom. Instead of having people have to travel and having to if we're not going into a country, if we're not in a country, but we're not physically, have a big building or anything, you can still join us. You can still get those skills, those tech skills all up to date. You can join the internship as well. So just an overview, if some of you haven't already registered your interest for one of our Job Ready programs, our Job Ready programs are 6 weeks in length. They're run on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. At the completion of your 6 weeks, you then go over to a fully mentored, gifted internship with MVP Studio. Okay, so overall, in the overall process of everything, you do 35% of your learning in the 6 weeks in the Job Ready program, and 65% is actually in the internship, because that is where you're going to apply your knowledge. You're going to stretch in a lot of ways in soft skills and knowing how to write cover letters and how to work as a team, knowing how scrums work, etc. So 65% is done in the internship side, 35% in the Job Ready side. Okay. So yeah, just Evan, anything else to add? Like, I just want to put it out there to you guys too, to have a bit of a conversation about this. If you've got any tips for anyone, Evan, that's wanting to get into BI? With BI, you're not necessarily needing to have a IT background, but have you got any tips for anyone that's looking at changing their career into that role, BI developer, data analyst? Any tips you want to just give them?
Yeah, so the biggest thing about BI is it's the meeting of data with people and with processes. So like a lot of the things that I found hard to learn at the beginning, or challenges that I faced were partly the soft skills, as well as simplifying the process. So you can create a really nice Jupyter notebook something, and have a high level Python script that has scikit-learn and machine learning or TensorFlow. And you're really going to have to pull it back a bit on what you're demonstrating to people. I think a lot of the lessons you learn are how to demonstrate data accurately, as well as think about it from a teaching perspective. So if you're interested in BI, and depending on where your background is coming from, because I didn't have an IT background, I had a Excel background, and I know that a lot of the world runs on Excel, and people that are software developers are already in the BI, they might roll their eyes, and rightly so. There's a lot of stuff that's done quite poorly in Excel that could be done much better throughout utilizing different technologies such as the SQL stack, Power BI, Tableau, Python, Jupyter Notebook, stuff like that. But the learning process of how to talk to people about their processes that they already do is one of the hardest parts of the job, because you're always trying to navigate what it is that you're trying to say to people. Like, you're trying to tell a story through data, and it can be very interesting to you, but when you have had 2 weeks of looking at the same data set, sort of thing, the story for you is much more obvious than someone who has to glean that sort of information from the same report in a couple minutes or an hour. But if you're interested in BI, I would you've got to just think about it from the human perspective. Do you like telling stories through data? If you do, think about the stories that you've told. Like, if you show someone a chart or a graph or a dashboard that you find quite interesting, how do you translate that information to other people? I think that a lot of the reservations I had about going down the BI route is I didn't feel that my Excel skills would be relevant. And I think that's completely the opposite of the case. Like, you need to talk to people in languages that they understand. And a lot of times you need to demonstrate that you can do the same thing in Excel and in Power BI or Tableau or any sort of scripting software in language they understand. And you will rely a lot on like the previous educational or work experience, regardless if it's related to BI, because a lot of those same soft skills that come with, at some stage you're going to have a dashboard or a report that's going to show something they really don't want to hear about. Like, they really don't want to know that the line goes down when it should go, they want it to go up.
Yeah. How do you communicate that? How do you translate that so they get that?
Well, you need to build trust with you need to build trust with your clients, and it's about building trust with like the people who are conducting the process, the people who are governing the process, as well as the people who you may be relying on, who are building like the database behind you. So one of the great things about BI is there's a lot of different sort of levels that you can fit in at. If you are coming without a computer science background, you'd probably rely heavily on the analyst portion of sort of the BI job. You'd focus on the maybe the Power BI or Tableau, the finishing touches on sort of like the data that you want to describe to people. But like the thing is with Industry Connect and MVP Studios is that you meet a lot of people with a lot of varying experience, and you can't really move up in sort of that higher database administrator role or data architect or data engineer role until you understand some of like the basic things that allows the data analyst role to really flourish and really excel in their position. So
awesome.
So I'm happy to answer any questions about BI or being a data analyst.
There you go, everyone. Ask away. Do it. So how we always say, like, I look at that kind of role as being someone that likes to work with stakeholders and that's not shy in stepping up and doing a presentation. That's personable as well, because those soft skills and that is very useful within those kind of roles as well. So just a little bit of food for thought, everyone who is watching and thinking about what career pathway do I want to go down. Maybe look at the BI data analyst pathway as your career. But we can help you there as well. Like I said, if you register, the link is in here. There it is right there. One of the team have put the info pack link there. Register there, you'll get an info pack, and then one of the team will give you a call to have a bit of a chat. Over to you, Aman. If anyone is looking at, the software development, what kind of tips can you give them from your experience with Industry Connect, MVP Studio, and in your work experience now?
So in terms of tips, I mean, I know that all interns and all graduates, I hire myself graduates as well in my team and stuff. And what we look for is actually not how much you know, okay? Because one thing in IT we do have is we're never gonna get the best developers. We will make the best developers. This is what we say, okay? What we do expect from developers or any graduates that are coming in is to sort of have a basic skill set. So they basically have to have minimum requirements, okay? In terms of what I mean by basic requirements, you must know a programming language. It doesn't have to be Java, C#. It could be any programming language. It could be Python or anything, okay? The other bit we too tend to look at is the willingness to learn and how hardworking you are and the way you listen. These are the three skills we actually look more towards to than the technical side. And when we're sort of looking at CVs and stuff, right? So I go through like 10, 20 CVs of graduates every day. And you can pick up, and we pick up these patterns where we know if this person will be willing to learn. And it's one of those things that people do come to say, how do you know, just by looking at a CV? It's because we can tell how much they've put in and what they've put in and what they've said. And usually what we do is when we filter out these CVs, we look at people that are engaged, they're doing activities, are doing anything on the side to learn. And I think one of the key aspects that I got asked in my interview is, have I picked up any learning programming language on the side? Do I program on the side? Do I have an interest? And this is what they say is they look for that exciting bit. That's what I'm saying is if any graduate have that excitement of saying, yes, I'm doing this on the side, I'm learning this on the side. And I think we hire about 20 graduates every year, right? And what we do is we put them in a screening process. So you might say we ignore the ones that are not keen, but no, we don't do that. We normally bring them on as well. So we don't go, okay, no, we look at the CVs. So we're like, okay, it's hard to decide. So we get them in a group. And this is when we say, okay, we'll give you a problem to solve. And in a group, we see who was engaging. And surprisingly, what we normally look at, and all senior developers will tell you this, is when we're doing graduate and screenings and stuff, and intern screenings, we're not looking at who knows best technologies, who can develop the code. There could be a developer as a grad that can be so great at programming, but his soft skills are not that great. And that what that means for us is if your soft skills are not great, you're not going to communicate with other developers. You're just going to sit there on the computer doing your own thing. And that's another thing. Soft skills do matter as well as technology, because if you cannot talk to people, you will not learn, and we cannot teach you. Therefore, you cannot understand. So it's one of those things that people focus on just in IT, and I think it's one of those things where people, when I say, oh, but I've learned this, I've got this certificate, I've done this, I've done the certified. Yeah, it helps. Great. Bring it on board. But at the end of the day, we will teach you this stuff. This is why we hire graduates, because we see them as the future for the company. So we sort of that soft skill. And that's the good thing in learning. In terms of tips, I think as a senior developer, I mean, when I got thrown deep in where I didn't really know what I was doing. And this is what I learned as well. Now any graduates come in, I know how it feels, because thrown in deep end, you don't know what you're going to get at, what skills you need. I remember writing a code in my first job, and I wrote it in one class, the whole code in one class. And I remember the senior developer looking at me, he's like, what kind of rubbish did you just write there? I mean, it wasn't the best feedback I got, but you learn the hard way after like rewriting the code, then you break it down and thing, and you realize, then that's when you start realizing these are the skills that they want you to learn. But I mean, and that's the difference between now I've learned that. So when I graduate does this, I normally say, okay, let's sit down, and I try to break it down. And what I've done is I normally give them a way to learn. And this is what I've learned is just, you got to teach them. They don't know these things, and you can't be angry. And that's what I'm saying. It's just be honest. You just have to be honest, saying, look, if you don't know, I don't know. Just say you don't know. It's fine. If you don't know that, I mean, I can't get angry at someone for not knowing, right? I can teach them.
Right. And saying that, technologies and things change all the time, and whatever project you're working on, you might use a different technology. So how do you expect everyone to know everything? You're never going to know it all. It's how you look for those answers, how you're teachable, how you have got the learner's hat on basically all the time.
Yes, and it's about initiative. Now, I've worked with many grads. I think one of the grads that I've seen, and most nowadays are very bright. They're like smarter than me, to be honest. When I was back in the days, that you can see them, because when they're stuck on the problem, they're automatically Googling stuff. They're automatically doing things. And when they're really stuck, they come and say, okay, look, I don't know this. How do I go about it? Which is fine. And this is how you learn.
Yes.
And in terms of another key aspect that I say is, don't bound yourself to one language. Don't say, okay, if like for me, I'm a Java developer, but if you're going to restrict yourself to Java and not learn, like say, pick up React or any new languages, Python or anything, then you're sort of restricting your own self to say. And what I mean by that is, like, if you go out elsewhere in another company, they might do Java, they might not do Java, but if they do Java, they'll be doing Python, they'll be doing scripting, they'll be doing various other languages which you'll probably get hands on. And the more you know, the more stronger developer you have, the more people see you as like, yes, this guy knows a lot. So other thing is, even though you have like sort of nailed a job, I think that self-learning is always important. You should always never stop learning, always sort of learn these languages, like take an hour every day after work. Or if not, just take a week and an hour just to improve on yourself. And this is what makes you that good developer, which when you're going for a role and you get offered a 40K job versus a 60K job, this is how you do it. They differentiate it based on how much the person knows, how much knowledge he has, how much skills they have, how much soft skills. And going further, and obviously as you progress, this is the progression, normally how it happens. You come in as a grad or intern, and then you slowly progress to a junior dev, then you progress to an intermediate, which we call a mid dev, and then you move on to a senior dev. Now the difference between that junior and mid dev is the technical balance, right? Okay, there's a technology.
Right.
But the balance between a mid and a senior is the communication. So there'll be a very good developer, but the communication is, can you communicate with your PO? Can you communicate, like with BIs? We go down ourselves. We have to figure out how this data is working. So I'll sit down with the BI team, and it's that communication, because now I have to talk to him in a non-technical term. He does not understand what this class does or this code does. I have to tell him, what am I looking for? And sometimes we have so I work for online gambling company, right? So just to say, we get data coming in. So players have bought tickets, they've got this many wages coming, which is like, this is how much they've bet. Now, if they say, I've bet this much, but I've not. Now, to figure this out, I need to go to the BI and say, okay, look, this player has bet this much. He's saying he hasn't bet this. Can you confirm this? And then they have to go dig up all this data and confirm, yes, this is the case or not the case. And this is what I was saying is, if you don't know that terminology, and you go up to the BI guy, okay, this service was doing this bidding and the play game started, and you know what I mean? If you're going to talk technology, he will be like, I have no idea what you're saying. And this is what makes the difference between the senior developer and the mid. And then once you move on to the senior and the tech lead, the difference between those two is the leadership skills. Now, the key balance here is that even though seniors are mentoring you, right, and they are doing that leadership skills, the lead role is more about guiding the team as well as the company as well. So his main focus is, are we going in the right direction? Any project we get, so any new features that we build, we have to break it down into requirements, into the architectural layer, and then chain it down. So the delegation is where you see. A senior developer would not delegate. A lead would delegate your tasks through. And that's what delegation is. And that's what makes a team lead. Can he manage? Can he delegate? He has to trust the team to deliver. And that's what makes you that whole. And getting these skills is, again, how you set your career path, how you learn it. If you have the right learning and the right attitude. So this is why we train graduates and interns to be in that mindset. That's why we say technology skills, because I don't really, not in tune for that.
Yeah. And that's all just referring back to the internship after the 6-week job ready program. That's where people are going to learn all those things. You're going to learn what does a real global company, how do they work?
Yes.
What does this mean? You know, they might come in there not actually knowing what, I don't know, you never know, someone might come in not knowing what a scrum is. What's agile?
But
What does that mean?
and that's what helps as well, Carla. See, even though someone that doesn't come, we go, okay, this guy's going to take time. But someone that comes in, and that's where you pick up your career, right? Someone that knows all these things, he's already ahead of you. Because that's what he's jumping in. He'll come in as an intern, a grad, but he'll jump into a junior as soon as possible, right? That transition is not going to take him 2 years. It'll take him a year. It'll take him 6 months. And remember, because I've got senior developers, I'm a senior dev. I've got senior developers that are older than me, 8 years older than me. There's older senior developers. The other thing. So it's not the years. It's about your skill set and how far you learn. And that's what I think the job ready program is there to do as well, to just learn, give you that learning, but also make you adapt into the work culture. And that's what I did as well. And I think because of that, this is why I've excelled so fast within those years, because I picked up that experience pre-hand. So I got ready, and that's just what that program, I think, is about, making you get ready to these things.
That's right. It's like, so that's what we call our programs, job ready, because we prepare you. I kind of like put it like this, everyone. This is how I describe it to some people sometimes. It's like you're a raw product. You come in, we dress you up. You're going through the internship side of things. We're getting all these nice things on you, putting you in a nice box, little bow around you, and then send you out into the workforce. Because you're a total package. You're a total package to be able to then go out there and start applying for those positions that you're interested in, because you have the skill set, you have the right attitude, you have the knowledge of how a business works. And so you should be going in there with, I call it, fully loaded into interviews. Anything else to add, Evan? We're going to wrap it up soon, in about a couple of minutes, everyone. So ask some questions if you've got questions, and we'll answer them.
No, I agree with him, man. And a lot of the things he was saying is like, any company you go to is not going to have the exact same tech stack as another company. So a lot of being flexible and being able to learn on your feet is really important. And also having sort of the ability to conform to their industry norms or their code standards is really important. Like you won't, you can show something that's very creative, but if you can't explain it, or if it doesn't fit with their like general code structure, they're not going to like you for it. It's going to be unmaintainable, and it's not going to be implemented well. And you've got to think about like growing your tech stack and your software as part of like a give and take process, as well as like giving some of your knowledge, like adding some new functionality, but also taking on board some of like the knowledge around you, as well as like working within like sort of their code structure. So it's soft skills are really gonna set you apart. I think the more practice you get with soft skills, even as communicating requirements is a really big part. And like if you set those things up like at the very start, it will help you produce something for a client or for your boss or for your lead or your manager that they're gonna really like. And when you can talk through your problems, because we all have tech problems, and like they don't go away. Like you can the same code and like be bewildered by like why you can't understand it, or why you look where does this bug actually come from, and why does it seem like it's 12 different bugs put together. But you've learning to think through how you're doing stuff is just as important as solving the problem. Like I pretty much agree with everything Aman said about this. I think they set the difference between a junior and a senior dev.
Yeah.
And also a junior and a senior BI developer, to be honest. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for your time and waking up early to be on this live. Oh my gosh, you gave us a lot to think about, a lot of things to think about for everyone that's watching as well. A lot of tips, advice as well. So just to wrap it up, I would say hone in on your soft skills. Always be a learner, always wanting to learn a bit more. Keep your technology stack kind of up there as much as you can. And yeah, kind of those are the two kind of big things to kind of like take away here today, tonight, this morning. So our next intake's on the 27th of July. If you haven't already registered for the Job Ready program that you're interested in, please go over to our website, industryconnect.org. Click on the apply button, and then you will also register there, and we'll send you out an information pack via email. There's a video to watch. There's a program schedule outline as well of each program, so you can have a look exactly what is covered in each program, and then one of the team will be in touch with you to have a bit of a chat on your next steps. Okay, thanks again, guys, for your time. Very, very, very much appreciated. Thank you for all your input.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day over there in the UK.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.